creating a magic system might just be the most fun you'll ever have in writing. A whole new world? Yeah. Hey, no Disney songs, don't even think about it. We can't afford that. But here's the thing, cool magic isn't enough for your story. The best magic systems feel real, like they could actually exist, and they make your story unforgettable. I'm Carson Long, a self-published author here to help you build better stories. And today, I'm giving you everything that you need to start creating a magic system that's original, logical, and so compelling that it sticks in your reader's mind long after the end. Stick around to the end of this video for an example of creating a magic system using this advice. Let's get started with the basics. The first thing to figure out about your own magic system is this: will it be hard or soft? This is how we categorize the amount of rules in your system. Will your magic follow those clear rules, or will it stay mysterious and abstract? Soft magic doesn't explain much. It just works when and how the story needs it to work. Think of Star Wars. What exactly does the Force do? We know that you can push and pull, and that kind of makes sense for how a Jedi can jump long distances, but it also lets you sense danger, manipulate someone's thoughts like mind control. These aren't the droids you're looking for. But also you can create illusions and sense the memories of objects. What exactly are the rules here? Or think of Lord of the Rings. What exactly can Gandalf do with his magic? It's never explained beyond what we see on the page. And that's the idea of a soft magic system. It doesn't need to be explained. That's not the point. It's powerful, exciting, and an interesting part of the world. Hard magic, on the other hand, has rules that the audience understands. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson has very clear rules. You ingest different metals and you burn them to gain specific powers, and each metal has a different, clearly defined power. Those rules shape the magic system and therefore the details of the story. And of course, most stories have a magic system that falls between these extremes. Harry Potter has a magic system with rules. You have to use a broom or a charm to fly. Well, unless you're Voldemort and you just kind of figure out how. And you know what? The killing curse is deadly. Unless you love someone or someone loves you. I don't know. Okay, but clearly I'm just being facetious. There's no right answer to how you want to define your magic, but each different style of magic system has its advantages and disadvantages and target audience. Some people love the incredibly logical aspect of a hard magic system, while others want something more mysterious. Whatever your approach, there are 3 specific questions you need to ask when creating a magic system. Number 1, what can your magic do? And more importantly, what can't it do? Brandon Sanderson, in one of his college lectures on storytelling, phrases it in a wonderful way. He says roughly, flaws and consequences are more interesting than the magic itself because that's what leads to conflict. Superman's powers, they aren't interesting. He's the Man of Steel. He can do everything. What is interesting is when villains find the gaps in his armor, when his powers are taken away, when his flaws are exposed. That's interesting because now there's conflict. Now there's something to overcome. By creating limitations in your magic system, you pave the way for fantastic conflict. If your magic system requires a wand, that's the limitation, then you've created a great moment in your story for what happens when the character's wand is taken away. How do they still succeed? And you can extrapolate this out even further. The Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks has a system where using the magic will eventually drive you mad and turn you into a monster. Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe has a magic system defined by 1,000,000 different rules and 12 different limitations, and they explore those limitations all the time. Create an imperfect magic system and conflict will follow. And then the next question you need to ask is this: how does the magic change the story? If you can yank the magic out of your story and not much else changes, then you aren't taking advantage of that magic system enough. If your magic is all about spectacle and imagery during the big moments of conflict or battle, then what purpose does it really serve throughout the rest of the story? This kind of shortcoming in your story can luckily be fixed pretty easily by spending more time planning your story. Now you might be like, wait, I'm a pantser, I don't want to plan my story. And I'm here to tell you that this kind of planning is well worth it. In the same way that advanced technology infiltrates everything in a science fiction story, the magic in your story needs to be a critical part of the world. How could A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin be the same book without the magic? And same with Robin Hobb and the Realm of the Elderlings. Even breaking out of traditional fantasy and looking at a book like 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the magic is integral to the story. Every aspect of your story should feed off of that magic, which begs the next question: how does the magic fit the theme of your book? Now, this is kind of a meta concept, but these sort of decisions make your story feel so much more cohesive. Here's a super simple example of this: creating a main character that's a wallflower, someone who always kind of fades off in the background, and then giving them powers that forces everyone to see them and notice them. That is a great character choice. It creates a ton of opportunity for internal conflict and growth and for uncomfortable change. Or if your story is a coming of age story, give your magic system some sort of consequence that your characters can't ignore. Part of growing up is understanding that the things you do have consequences. You can make your story feel so much more complete by connecting all of these elements. Let me give you an example of how asking these questions can help you build something interesting. Let's build a magic system together. I want a world where people can steal time from others. You ever see that Justin Timberlake movie In Time? Think that, but magic and good. In this world, there's magic that lets you steal someone's remaining natural life. You could steal hours, days, even years from them and add that time to your own. Seems a little dark, a little wild. One of the first questions you might ask is, how does this theft happen? Well, let's make a limitation where it has to happen through touch, not at a distance. And specifically, I would do this because it creates a ton of potential great scenes of character interaction. It's now a personal thing, not something that can be done at a distance. Limitations are interesting, right? So let's add some more. Let's say you can't willingly give away your own time. It can only be taken. And the more time that you take from other people, the more of their qualities you inherit. Eye color can change, memories, maybe even bits of personalities. People who have stolen a lot of time become less like their original selves. Okay, so how does this shape the world? I immediately get an image of some kind of bank, right? Time is tied to people, so what if there was a bank system where someone was locked away inside a vault with eons of time? And with all that time, they've completely lost themselves and turned into this husk of a person. A striking image that couldn't exist in any other story. And of course, we need some good old class divide. The ruling class, they're basically immortal, right? There's a huge divide between the ruling class and the working class. And to the rulers, a generation of people lost to famine is barely a blip on their radar. Okay, something cool is coming together. How do we tie it all together with a theme? This is where we start making decisions about characters. The characters serve as the reader's window into this world, so this is how we inject theme into everything. It seems like the concept of stealing time and losing your identity could be a defining part of our theme. So what if we have a character that's really struggling with figuring out who they are and what their purpose is? Or maybe they're just totally against the idea of stealing time, but they're losing a loved one to a ticking clock. How far would they go? This is how strong magic systems work. They don't just give characters power, they shape the world and the story, they create conflict and tension, they fuel the story. And that's exciting. But it doesn't matter what kind of magic system you build, as long as you use it smartly. Is that the right word? Think of the magic in your favorite stories. It's not just the rules that make them great, but it's how those rules shape everything else. So what kind of magic system are you building? Drop your ideas in the comments, and if this was helpful, hit like and subscribe to Story Lab for more weekly writing videos. I'll see you next time.